The next topic is kidney disorder and their treatment strategies, and in this heading we will discuss kidney stones, renal failure, dialysis in detail. So the first topic is kidney stones. 70% of the kidney stones are made up of calcium oxalate or calcium phosphate, while the 20% are combinations of the calcium, magnesium and ammonium phosphate. They are called infective stones because the most common cause of these type of stones is infection, and the 5% are made up of uric acid. Another type of stone found in kidneys is made up of cystine, and it forms stone due to its accumulation in kidneys. But the most common are the calcium oxalate and the calcium phosphate. Kidney stones can be found in the kidney, in the ureters, in the bladder or in the urethra. Calcium oxalate stones. Oxalate is an product of the body metabolism, and normally it is present in urine. It is found in tomato and spinach. It forms a salt with calcium which has low solubility, and as a result of low solubility, high levels of the oxalate in urine causes stone formation, and the high levels of oxalate may be due to high oxalate dye, which is present in green leafy vegetables. These are the stones called calcium oxalate stones, and you can measure it by measuring scale. The treatment procedure is lithotripsy, and it is of two types. The first is ultrasonic lithotripsy and the second is shockwave lithotripsy. The first is ultrasonic lithotripsy. In ultrasonic lithotripsy, ultrasonic waves are focused from outside of the body and they are focused towards the stones. As they are focused toward the stones, ultrasonic waves breaks the stones apart, and as the stones are break apart into smaller pieces, then these smaller pieces are passed in the urine. The second is shockwave lithotripsy and is the most common method. The mechanism is same, that it uses of the shock waves from outside of the body which are focused on the stones to break a stone in smaller pieces. Then stones after breakdown are passed in the urine. The next kidney disorder is renal failure, and it is defined as the reduction in ability to remove waste products from the blood and excrete them in urine. And this results in the loss of regulatory mechanisms as well as excretory mechanisms which accumulate the nitrogenous waste products inside the body. If this is the non-functional kidney, and it cannot filter the blood, so that the nitrogenous waste products will accumulate inside the body. This results in the following symptoms. The first is nausea, then vomiting. Loss of appetite means reduced desire to eat. There is weakness and breathlessness. Breathlessness is due to the phenomena that kidney produces the hormone called erythropoietin, and this erythropoietin is essential for the development of red blood cells. As the kidney fails, this erythropoietin is not produced by the kidney, and there is reduced production of red blood cells. As there is reduced production of red blood cells, the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood decreases, and this results in breathlessness. In severe conditions, this results in coma and death, and it is due to the accumulation of ammonia inside the body, which is very toxic to the human body. Complications are dangerous, and renal failure can result in pneumonia. Pneumonia is the infection of the lung parenchyma, and it is mainly due to the bacterial infection. Renal failure can also result in high blood pressure because the kidney is not working. As the kidney is not working, there is salt and water retention inside the body, and as the salt and water retain inside the body, this causes the blood pressure to rise. Bleeding can also result, and it is due to the platelet dysfunction because of the accumulation of nitrogenous waste products inside the body. The treatment is the dialysis or the kidney transplant. Dialysis is external artificial kidney, and it removes waste products as well as extra fluid from the body. It is of two types. The first type is hemodialysis and the second type is peritoneal dialysis. In hemodialysis, the blood is taken out of the body and is taken to the filter called dialyzer. Inside this dialyzer there is a fluid called dialysate. The nitrogenous waste products from the blood diffuses into this dialysate, while the rest of the blood is transported back to the body. The dialysate machine consists of two compartments separated by a semi-permeable membrane. The left compartment contains dialysate, while the right compartment contains human blood. As the human blood consists of high concentration of nitrogenous waste products, so these nitrogenous waste products diffuse from the blood compartment into dialysate compartment. In this way, the blood is filtered by the dialyzer. So here in the text, dialyzer has two spaces separated by partially permeable membrane. Blood passes from one side of the membrane and dialysis fluid from the other. Nitrogenous waste and excess salts are diffused out from the blood into the dialysate. The rest of the blood is then returned to the circulation, and this process is repeated for 6 to 10 hours 3 times a week under diet control and proper fluid intake. In peritoneal dialysis, inside the abdomen there is a cavity called peritoneal cavity. This is peritoneal cavity. Inside this cavity we give an incision through which a catheter is passed. There is a dialysis solution from which the dialysate is passed into this peritoneal cavity. The peritoneal cavity has a peritoneal membrane which works as a semi-permeable membrane, and the nitrogenous waste products from the blood diffuses into this dialysate. As the nitrogenous waste products accumulate in this dialysate is then transported into another bed. So peritoneal dialysis involves an abdominal incision through which a catheter is inserted into the peritoneal cavity. This catheter is inserted into the peritoneal cavity, and then peritoneal cavity is filled with dialysis fluid that enters the body through this catheter. Excess water and waste pass through the peritoneum into the dialysis fluid through peritoneal membrane. Process is repeated during a day or overnight and takes about an hour. If there is end-stage kidney disease, there is only option left, that is the kidney transplant, and it is a surgical procedure in which a non-functional kidney is replaced by a healthy kidney, and it is indicated in young patients as it is preferred over dialysis, and it is successful in about 80% of the cases. This concludes the topic of kidney problems and their treatments.